Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we're diving into something that affects literally millions of households, yet it still manages to be completely confusing for so many of us. If you share your home with an indoor cat, you already know they absolutely run the show, right? But when it actually comes to feeding them, doing the right thing isn't always as simple as just popping open a can. Today, we're going to translate the core nutritional essentials directly from our source material into a super practical, easy-to-follow guide just for your indoor feline. We are breaking down the anatomy of the perfect bowl and clearing up all that confusion once and for all. So what exactly makes the perfect diet for an indoor cat? It sounds like a simple question, but man, it can cause a ton of anxiety. Picture yourself just walking down the pet food aisle at your local store. There are endless rows of brightly colored bags, shiny cans, little pouches, all of them making these massive, bold promises. It is incredibly overwhelming to figure out what actually works for a cat that, let's be honest, spends most of its days lounging on your sofa instead of hunting out in the wild. If you've ever stood completely frozen in that aisle, trust me, you are not alone. Our goal today is to give you a really structured, completely stress-free path to truly understanding feline nutrition. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today's journey. First, decoding cat food labels. Second, essential nutrients for indoor cats. Third, wet versus dry cat food. And finally, routines and vet consultations. Let's kick things off with Section 1, decoding cat food labels and exactly what to look for before you buy. You know, healthy feeding actually starts right there at the store shelf. Before you get totally distracted by all those fancy flavor names, there are 3 absolute foundational checks you've got to make. First off, specifically look for labels that say indoor cat. Indoor cats have vastly different lifestyles and energy needs compared to the neighborhood outdoor cats. Second, you really must select age-appropriate formulas. Whether you've got a tiny kitten, a full-grown adult, or a sweet senior cat, their nutritional requirements change drastically over their lifespan. And third, and guys, this one is absolutely critical, check for the AAFCO nutritional adequacy statement. Having this on the bag literally guarantees that the food provides complete, balanced nutrition for your pet. And this brilliantly illustrates the big difference between what your cat actually needs and what you should leave behind on the shelf. When you're scanning those labels, you want to prioritize high-quality animal protein, things like chicken, turkey, or salmon, as the absolute first ingredient. See, cats are obligate carnivores, which basically means they absolutely require meat to thrive, and they just do best on natural ingredients. On the flip side, you want to avoid excessive fillers like corn, wheat, and soy. They simply don't need them. Furthermore, steer clear of artificial colors, flavors, and unnecessary preservatives. I mean, your cat doesn't care what color their kibble is, right? So definitely don't pay for artificial dyes. Now, there's also a major misconception we need to objectively clear up here, and that's grain-free diets. Despite all the heavy marketing you see out there, grain-free diets are really only necessary if they are specifically recommended by a veterinarian for a known allergy or sensitivity. It is so easy to project our human diet trends onto our pets, but unless your vet specifically directs you toward a medical diet, grains just aren't inherently the enemy for a healthy cat. Moving right along to Section 2, essential nutrients for indoor cats. Zooming in on the bowl. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can instantly map these 5 specific ingredients directly to their tangible bodily benefits. Now that we have the right bag off the shelf, let's look at the microscopic nutrients that actually fuel your indoor cat every single day. Fiber is basically an indoor cat's best friend because it supports digestion and actively helps reduce those dreaded hairballs. Next up, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. These are the secret behind promoting healthy skin and that gorgeous, shiny coat we all love. Antioxidants are in there to support a strong immune system, kind of acting like a natural defense mechanism. Prebiotics and probiotics are crucial for promoting a really healthy digestive system. And finally, a nicely balanced profile of vitamins and minerals supports their overall wellness. It really is like a complete symphony of ingredients working perfectly together. But hey, if there is one nutrient that deserves the absolute VIP treatment here, it is taurine. Taurine is an essential amino acid. And why is it so special? Well, because it is absolutely crucial for maintaining a cat's heart and eye health. A deficiency here can be highly detrimental, which makes taurine a completely non-negotiable inclusion in any quality feline diet. Seriously, they've got to have it. We also need to face the reality of the indoor lifestyle. Let's be totally honest with ourselves here. Your cat isn't exactly sprinting after prey for hours a day, right? They are much more likely ruling the house from the comfort of the sofa. Because of this significantly lower activity level, Moderate calorie content is essential to prevent weight gain. Obesity is incredibly common in indoor cats, so managing your caloric intake right from the bowl is basically your first line of defense. That brings us to section 3, wet versus dry cat food, settling the great debate. If you've ever talked to literally any other cat owner, you know everyone has a very strong opinion on whether cans or kibble are superior. So the crucial point is, there is no absolute winner. Both formats actually offer distinct complementary benefits. Because cats evolved from desert-dwelling ancestors, they naturally have a pretty low thirst drive. So wet food beautifully increases their water intake and strongly supports their urinary health. On the other hand, the dry food side, the actual crunch of the kibble, can be highly beneficial because it maintains dental health by reducing plaque buildup on their little teeth. So yeah, they both serve a distinct medical and nutritional purpose for your cat. Wrapping things up with Section 4, routines and vet consultations, bringing it all home. Let's move to and see how this builds into a safe, patient process that protects your cat's sensitive stomach when changing diets. Now that we actually know what to feed them, we need a safe routine for how to serve it in your kitchen. Cats have notoriously sensitive digestive systems. You cannot, I repeat, cannot simply swap out their food overnight and expect things to go smoothly. It requires a patient, 3-step process. Step 1, you must introduce the new food gradually. Step 2, mix it with their old food over a period of 7 to 10 days, just slowly increasing the ratio of the new food to the old. And step 3, completely transition. By strictly following this 7 to 10 day timeline, you completely avoid causing them any nasty digestive upset. Once they're finally eating their newly formulated indoor diet, your daily routine kicks in. Listen, don't just automatically fill the bowl to the very brim every time it's empty. You've got to monitor your cat's weight regularly and actively adjust those daily portion sizes as needed to maintain that moderate calorie intake we talked about earlier. And above all else, partner with your veterinarian to choose the very best food based on your cat's specific age, health, activity level, and any medical conditions. Honestly, strong portion control and a solid partnership with your vet are your absolute best tools here. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with one final, really provocative thought to chew on. Does your cat's current diet actually meet these nutritional essentials? Now that you have this structured guide in your back pocket, I highly encourage you to head into your pantry, flip over that bag or can, and do a quick audit of the ingredients. If it doesn't quite hit the mark, or if you simply aren't sure, let this be the spark for a great conversation with your vet. Thank you so much for learning with me today on The Explainer. Keep observing, keep learning, and here's to the long, happy health of your indoor feline.